Hi friends. The other night Sharon and I were eating dinner and the doorbell rang. By the time I got to the door, no one was there, but there was a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups hanging on the knob. As you may recall, I find Reese's peanut butter cups irresistible. So thank you to whoever made that delivery. You must be really fast, by the way, because it didn't take me that long to get to the door, and by the time I did, you were long gone, unless you were hiding in our bushes. There was a car parked on the street in front of our house with its lights on, and I couldn't see inside of it, but I thought it might be our benefactor, and so I waved and waved and waved, and finally the person got out and it was a total stranger. So she probably either thought, what a weirdo, or boy, Granville's a really friendly place. So I was thinking how that was kind of like a reverse trick or treat. Instead of ringing a doorbell and asking for candy, this person rang the doorbell and left candy. And that got me to thinking how the gospel of Jesus is a reversal of the way that the world usually works. The world says, hate your enemies and opponents. The gospel says, love them. The world says, dominate. The gospel says, serve. The world says, do whatever makes you happy. The gospel says, do whatever pleases God. The world says, look out for number one. The gospel says, the last shall be first. The world promotes rugged individualism. The gospel promotes interdependent community. The world says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The gospel says, in Christ alone you shall find your strength. The world understands blessing as wealth. The gospel understands blessing as generosity. The world says, take revenge. The gospel says, turn the other cheek. The world says, do the minimum required. The gospel says, go the extra mile. The world claims that death is the end. The gospel promises that it's a new beginning. Sometimes I think our familiarity with the gospel prevents us from seeing its radical nature, its reversal of norms, its contrariness to culture. Now, don't get me wrong, it's good to be familiar with the gospel. I just think we need to remind ourselves sometimes that the point of the gospel is not to make us feel good about ourselves. The point of the gospel is to help us to live a life for God. And when we do live a life for God by doing good and obeying God's commands and working for God's purposes, then we end up finding more satisfaction and worth than we could have ever found on our own. I want to encourage you to pay attention to the ways that your faith calls you to hold different values and priorities or to act differently from the culture around you. When you identify those ways, celebrate them. Not only are you experiencing the blessing of life in Christ, but you are also blessing the people and the world around you. I bet the person who left those Reese's cups on my door experienced just as much joy as I did, without all the calories. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again soon.